Alright guys, how's it going? Here I am with another half-time video. Half-time, like halfway through the day, I've done a bit, stop for a cup of tea, maybe a bite to eat or something like that. Tell you what's going on and maybe discuss anything, in a more chilled environment. How are you doing? You alright? Well, first of all, I must tell you that I have got a blinding headache. And I won't be doing any live streams today because I've been invited out for a few sherbets, and to be honest with you, I'm not looking forward to that because I've got a blinding headache, so I don't know how that's going to go down, to be honest with you, but we'll see. I can't let my friend down. Now, yesterday, I posted a question of the day, and that was with regards "You're Not Singing Anymore" being chanted at Anfield, because this has been like a bit of a discussion the last couple of days. And this is how it started. So I mentioned what would Shankly think, because go and have a look at the video. It was posted yesterday, the question. And I mentioned Shankly because Spirit of Shankly, the fans organisation, chimed in on this as well. And obviously, that is supposed to be about the spirit of Shankly and blah, 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 representing those values and all that. And, Shankly, man, amazing. Amazing. Do you know when I got my first house many, many years ago, when I was a young lad with my childhood sweetheart, in my lounge, we had one main light picture, in the lounge, and it was like a black and white, the Shankly one, And, Shankly, big deal, man, do you mind? My rescue dog's down here breakdancing. Wait. Anyway, so this is what happened. So Ian Doyle from the Echo, I think he's like the chief sports writer or something, during the game with Lille, or after the game, I assume it was during, he said on X, he posted on X, "You're not singing anymore. Chant the LFC fans who don't go to the game often." And that was retweeted by Spirit of Shankly, who said, "A vision of the future if the club continue to try and attract people who have no idea about our history and traditions." And both of them, sparked off a debate, if you like. Some people agreed with them. Some people said, "Fuck you talking about," kind of thing, right? Which is why I was asking you, what do you think Bill Shankly would have done if he'd have come across a group of supporters singing, "You'll never walk alone, you're not singing anymore." And absolutely everybody in the comments section, which I'm sure some of these people will say doesn't represent, the real match-going fans, you know what I mean? You know what they're like, right? Said Shankly would have been like, would have been courage, like, does it matter kind of thing, So there's some that say it's cringe, you know what I mean? And some say big deal. Oh, and it was also, they also claimed on here that you'll never, oh my God, that "You're Not Singing Anymore" has never been chanted at Anfield. It's not done. But there was people in the comments saying, hang on a fucking minute. In the 70s and 80s, it was sung at Anfield, at a time when there probably was more local support, maybe, right? Before football became like a fucking thing, you know what I mean? And when I say a thing, it was before it was commercialised and whatnot. In fact, if you go on YouTube and put into YouTube, "You're Not Singing Anymore, Liverpool or Anfield," you'll see videos from 10, 15 years ago, the fans singing this, right? So there's a debate, and everyone's entitled to, like, an opinion as to, that's a bit cringe, we don't do that, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I do understand some of it. Now, Siempre78 commented on that video yesterday. If this was for the Lille game, their fans did sing La Marseillaise when Jonathan David equalised, so it would have been quite appropriate to sing "You're Not Singing Anymore" when Elliott restored the lead just 5 minutes later. Plus, Elliott doesn't have a chant, right? So a bit of, like, common sense there, maybe, right? Now, I'm going to give you my thoughts on this, right? I'm going to give you my thoughts on this. Many years ago, Spirit of Shankly were caught up in some controversy, right? They had some kind of social event, and they had someone at this social event was I think on stage, singing, like a musician maybe, Munich songs, basically, and the crowd joined in and everything. It was terrible. You know what I mean? So it was a gaffe. I'm not saying that they would endorse it, or maybe they should have stopped it at the time or whatever, but it was a mistake, and I'm sure people said to them, hey, that ain't fucking right. Okay, so this isn't a criticism of Spirit of Shankly. I'm just giving you an example of sometimes people maybe do things that they don't think. Do you know what I mean? And maybe people were let down by that, Now, again, I'm for transparency, I have been a member of Spirit of Shankly twice, each time to try and help them with issues with the club. Obviously, one time was during the Gillette and Hicks time. I just thought maybe my subs, my tenner, 20 quid, whatever it was, probably a tenner, maybe it'll go towards helping something. This is a fan group, that represents the fans, apparently. And the next time, I can't remember what it was, but I will have joined up to help, in some way, shape or form. Now, the Spirit of Shankly is supposed to be about the spirit of Shankly, but I hate to break this to people, and I feel awful saying it, right? But we can cling on to the past as much as we want, and I love the past. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's romantic, it's right. Honestly, I would love to go back to all of that, right? Not that I was even alive then, but it's 2025, right? That doesn't mean you forget your heritage, your roots, your history, your beliefs and all that, right? But if you're going to start saying that we represent the spirit of Shankly, right, then what would Shankly think about supporters from all over the world that supported Liverpool? Would he have a problem with them? Now, I'm not saying that Spirit of Shankly have a problem with supporters that are not from Liverpool, but some people think that, right? Some people think that, some of the posts that they make go down that route, right? So this one, for example, a vision of the future if the club continue to try and attract people who have no idea about our history and traditions. That kind of, I think, does mean people, outside the city or whatever. But also someone replied and said, why do people take that as meaning you don't want out-of-towners there kind of thing? It was like, exactly, you can be from outside Liverpool but still respect history and tradition. So I get that, right? But a lot of people have seen them say things before that make them feel excluded, right? So I'll probably get set upon for this video. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest with you, over the years, whenever, I've had a lot of hate, and I talk about real hate, right? And when it really started back in the day, it was always from a particular group of people that would all have the same things in the bio, for example, on X and places like that, right? I do apologise for the noise, but it's a sunny day and everyone's chucked the dogs out again because winter's not around today. So I would always be hated on, by, I'll probably get a lot of hate for this video. But what I'm trying to say here is that Spirit of Shankly is supposed to be the spirit of Shankly, and Shankly would want everyone to feel welcoming and inclusive. And I think if you ask a lot of overseas fans, they don't feel that Spirit of Shankly includes them. That's why they fly planes over Anfield and shit like that, right? Which I don't agree with personally, but I understand why they do it. And Spirit of Shankly, I'm sure, would argue that and say, as an outside, we have members that are overseas, right? Or we encourage, your opinion, or whatever. That's fine, right? But people still feel like it's not genuine. Like, it's the vibe you give off. It is the vibe you give off. It's not my opinion. It's what people feel. And I've interacted with Liverpool supporters for fucking decades. It's what they feel, whether you intend it or not. It's how they feel you come across. Yeah, and I can imagine, if I'm from Scarborough, right? So if I was supporting Scarborough, my local club, and there was people from out of town coming there, and and I had that vibe of, well, it's not what we do around it. I get it. I would be protective, and I understand it. I do, but absolutely fucking nobody has the right to tell anybody what they can and can't do, rather than attacking people, or making digs at them. If you think that it's pathetic that they were chanting, "You're not singing anymore," maybe have a word with them and say, "Hey, we don't really do that. We don't, But at the end of the day, if people pay a ticket, they can do what they want, right? It doesn't mean I agree with it. I don't have a problem with it personally. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure I've sung it at some point in my life. I've certainly heard it at Anfield when I was there at every game, a match, going fan. I'm not there now through choice because I don't give a fuck anymore. I can't be more transparent with my views. The top flight game's finished for me. People are still clinging on to the Shankly era and that's fine, and it should never be forgotten. But these people that own the club, and I don't give a fuck about you, they'll just try and humour you and whatnot, right? But I think that Shankly, for example, we're talking about the journalist there at the Liverpool Echo. I think Shankly would have a problem with you because your publication, which used to be fucking brilliant, all it does is clickbait and mislead Liverpool supporters. Do you think Shankly would endorse that? I think Shankly would have a problem with that and say, why are you doing that to these great people? So I find a bit of hypocrisy in there, And like I say, I do think that Shankly would welcome people from all over the world. And I think he'd be concerned at anybody representing, using his name and making people feel like that, even if it's not your intention. Even if it's not your intention. What are you doing, you? Do you get me drift? Because people feel that about Spirit. If you don't believe me, ask them. You can't... There's this constant thing about that I see usually in this debate regarding Spirit of Shankly that's along the lines of match day going fans. They're the only ones that count. I'm not saying Spirit of Shankly say that. I'm saying that's what people think. That's the discussions you see. I've seen things retweeted where people are saying that. And that's insulting to Liverpool supporters all over the world that would give fucking anything to be there. And the ones that can get there, that spend thousands to get there. Thousands. And get up at all times, day and night, to watch Liverpool play. Surely it only matters if someone's heart's in the right place. Now, I acknowledge the local support, and that I do. And the way I see it is, one thing I've always said is that the local support is the soul of the club. And maybe they're not local support. People like me, maybe they're the heart of the club. Because you're all on the same side, right? But there's no way that as an out-of-towner I can understand what it's like to play Everton as a Scouser or anything like that. It's ridiculous to suggest that I would understand it, And... I don't want to come across as aggressive or to anybody. Honestly, I'm a passive guy, I'm chilled. But you can't tell people in 2025 what they can and can't fucking sing. You can't. You want to be grateful they're fucking singing. The place is like a fucking graveyard most of the time. And I get it. Why is it like a grave? Because of the way the game's gone. That's why I don't like it anymore. It doesn't belong to any one group. Liverpool Football Club, Anfield doesn't belong to any one group. Who the fuck has got the right to tell people what you can and can't do? Now, of course, there are beliefs and traditions, and rather than putting people down or mocking them, say, hey, we don't really do, all right, because there'll be a lot of people, you see, it's not their life. I imagine the people, that behind the social media accounts of Spirit of Shankly, for example, die-hard Reds, love Liverpool, it means everything to them, right? You got to understand there's a lot of people that go to the games that still love Liverpool, that it's not their life. They don't even know who owns the fucking club. Why should they submerge themselves in all of that? Why can't they just go and watch if they pay the money and, they're not shouting derogatory shit and stuff like that? Booing. Yeah, you don't boo. Like someone said in the comment section when, my season ticket's right at the cop end, right? And you see that the cop was amazing, always, clapping the visiting goalkeeper. Fucking classy stuff. I agree with you on things like that. You can get someone that's, a visiting player scores a goal and fuck me, you applaud it like, hey, I'm sorry, but that was a fucking great goal. Class, yes, there is class, but you're not very classy, if you're making people feel excluded or telling people what they can and can't say. I've seen, right, over years, Like, you know, you get kids that are maybe 10 or 11, 8, I don't know, and they maybe take a board, you know, a little cut, you know, like, can I have your shirt, please? And I've seen comments online from some of these people that want to be in that, you know, might be in that little group of people that think a certain way, saying this isn't soccer AM, you know what I mean? And then you see people saying, fucking taking the phones out and taking a fucking video, but it's watch the game. Right, well, maybe that's their one and only lifetime opportunity to attend Anfield, and maybe they want a little video or a little photograph of, you know, whatever. All this started years ago when they used to start saying the Norwegian Reds, and they'd mock people that were in the ground with bags from the official merchandise. Well, don't you forget, if it weren't for them people with them bags, you know, where would the club be without that outside support? Financially, this video is not to criticize anyone. I do understand some of the core principles of like what people with Spirit of Shankly are saying. Yeah, I do, honestly. I do believe in you know, there are certain things maybe you do, but you're not singing anymore, you're going to get upset about that, really? For fuck's sake, man. I think you just need to understand, right, or try and understand that, you know, we love Shanks, man, more than, but you really, no, they don't care about Shanks. All right, they don't care about Shanks and your fat cup, right, fine, but we do, and we want to maintain. Yes, we do. I would love to go back to all of that, but it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. And the issue here that I have is, if you're going to criticise people for, you know, how they support the club or what they do or say, and you work for the Liverpool Echo, publishing articles clickbaiting these fans left, right and fucking centre, and you maybe make people feel unwanted around the world, well, that doesn't fall into the Spirit of Shankly, in my opinion, because I reckon if he was there, he'd say, I'm going to fucking minute. Anyone in this fucking world that wants to love this club can love this club. And I know people, we've never said they can't, I get it, but people feel that that's what you think about them, all right? It's just fucking more things to worry about, I think. Tell you what's fucking cringe. Cringe thinking that anyone individual or any one organisation can tell people how they should support a fucking football club. That's fucking cringe. Stick to your values. Oh, well, we don't really do that. Educate people. Do you know what I mean? You know, when I started Cop Talk back in the 1990s, I got fucking slaughtered by these people, to be honest with you. You know, they didn't take into account that you're not from the city. Back then, we didn't have the internet like you have now, and websites and YouTube. YouTube didn't fucking exist. And if you said the wrong thing, they would, you know what I mean? Like, the threats I had, it always came from the same people. You know what I mean? If you ever looked at the bios, it was always the same things, always the same stickers, always the same thing. Do you know what I mean? And it used to upset me. I used to think, well, all right, I've made a mistake then. You know, we all make fucking mistakes, you know. Spirit of Shankly made a mistake when they had someone singing Munich songs. I'm sure they learnt from it. I'm sure they didn't mean to do it. Why is it one rule for one but one for another? You know? And I ain't going to be patronised by any fucking journalist at the Liverpool Echo. Fucking, nah. Not at all. So I'm going to wrap up this video. And I'm going to say this, right? If you want to wait on me and, you know, make my life difficult, which many of you have done over the years, fine. But that would show, you know, say more about you, because what I'm saying here, a conversation, I'm trying to say to you, this is how people feel, you know? And I do agree with some of the, you know, things that shouldn't maybe happen in a football stadium or whatnot. But, you know, some people, you know, I mean, I think there was a comment on the video saying some mother was encouraging some kids to, her kids maybe to boo players or boo, you know, the opposition, or boo the bus of the opposition. Nah, that's shite, that, innit? Yeah, but at the end of the day, there's a bit of banter as well. And fucking kids. Imagine saying to a kid, no, don't boo that player because it doesn't fall into, but, nah, come on, man. Should be grateful there's some fucking chanting there. These people are there, they're doing the best, they're there to support the team. You know, I don't know. No one's going to ever tell me what I can and can't say. And that's why they don't like me. That's why they've had a problem with me over the years. Oh, he's a con man, this. He's not even from here. You've got no right. No, it's the wrong way. What I will say is I've had the pleasure of meeting hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of Scousers over the years. And they aren't like that. I used to think they were like that. I used to, because of the reaction from a certain element, I used to think, oh, they don't like us. And it made me feel awful. You know, I was like, felt like excluded. You know, and that's what someone overseas online supporters feel like. They get slaughtered for being on, you're just an online supporter. Well, you're a fucking online as well. What's the difference? This thing about, like, I'm a match day going fan. I'm so much more superior to you. Yeah, right, okay. Well, I used to go to every fucking game possible, including the reserves. And did that make me more fucking knowledgeable? Did it? Fuck. It's pathetic. That's it, rant over. All right. I'm sure that Spirit of Shankly and any other fan organisations all do their bits. Some people say, no, they fucking don't. They only represent, you know, you only see them when ticket prices go up and it affects them, or away travel. I don't know. I don't give a fuck, to be honest. I'm really not bothered. Is that selfish? Maybe that's selfish. Maybe I should care. Yeah. I care about good people. Do you know what I mean? But I'm sure that the organisations, whatever football clubs, Liverpool, I'm sure they're always fighting to try and make things better. I get that. And you can't, they must do, or else why do they exist? But I don't believe that they have any clout at the end of the day. I know that things can change, because that's why I was a member myself, you know, to try and help. But what I mean by clout is when they start saying, you know, the club says, oh yeah, we'll listen to you, you can, you know, be on our, you know, sit around this table with us. I just think that's just pacifying. The game has changed. No one gives a fuck about you anymore. Any of us. They do not care about us. There is nobody in that senior level or whatever ownership that gives a fuck about us. And yes, the Spirit of Shankly should be kept alive, but let's not kid ourselves too with it, right? And remember that Shankly, he would want everyone to feel inclusive and, you know, shout louder, I think he'd have said. He said plenty of things about the opposition. Priorities are a bit strange on this one. Listen, always try and do things the right way. Don't be a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? Don't be a fucking idiot. But we all make mistakes, you know, and maybe look up the Liverpool way, you know, and there is a Liverpool way. But you know what part of the Liverpool way is? I was looking into this a while back, because I went through it on the AI, you know. I was like, what's the Liverpool way? You know, because I was thinking of a topic for a video. And do you know what one of the responses was on ChatGPT? It said that the Liverpool way, it included being friendly and non-toxic kind of thing to other supporters, respecting your fellow fan, regardless of who they were. You know what I mean? You know, I would sit at Anfield, always with the same people around me, lovely people, you know. And if someone did something, you know, we had certain seats that were not season tickets, so there'd always be a different person there. And if someone was a clown, someone would say, "Oi, dickhead, sit fucking down." Yes, that's right, because you've been a dickhead, right? You're not singing anymore. You're not singing anymore. It was sung at Anfield when I've been there. It was sung over every decade I can think of seeing Liverpool, so I don't quite understand it myself. All right, that's my views. I'm sure I'll get caps locked to it to death. I'm sure I'll get some hate for it, but maybe if people listened occasionally, and, you know, like I say, some people don't feel included and they're made to feel a particular way. You will say it's not your intention, but that's the way they feel. So there must be a reason for that. I'd work on fixing that rather than working on fixing what people are singing in ground, I'm saying. All right, guys, take care. If you appreciate the video, please thumbs up. Please thumbs down if you disagree with what I've said in this video. It gives a good reflection of things, I guess. All right, take care.